So it's going to be a 15-minute race then for the Yokohama Locost Championship. Paul Clark in the green and yellow car on the pole position with Daniel Garrett next to him, I think, with the red roll cage. Red lights go on, revs rising the 1300 cross-flow engines. Race gets underway, and it's a decent start from Clark from pole position, but possibly a slightly better start from Daniel Garrett from the outside of the front row. Actually, they're going to be side by side into Clervaux for the first time, and it's Garrett that snatches the lead away from Paul Clark. Then it's the 17 car of Angus Goff in third position as they turn through the right-hander at Clervaux corner for the first time. But it is Garrett that's ahead of the green and yellow car, the familiar colours of Little Clarky, Paul Clark, in second place. Then, I'll say, Goff in third position. But they all look to be safely away, and Clark really pushing to try and get the lead back.
Down towards Tower Bend for the first time of asking these cars. These races very much defined by the slipstream, but Clark wasn't able to regain the lead, and it is still Daniel Garrett who leads as they make their way through the Jim Clark S's for the first time. The field flurries its way through Tower Bend, and we might have had some grid dramas, but everybody seems to have made it safely through.
Certainly have so far. Heading up to Sunny then for the first time, and there's already battles emerging all the way down the pack. There'll be one or two drivers looking to make some progress. There's the 66 car up on the inside. That is the car of Luke Stokes, ahead of Trevor Faunch. Luke Stokes, a newcomer for this season, is a GT mechanic when he's not racing himself. Leaders coming through the complex then for the first time, and it is still Daniel Garrett from the outside of the front row that leads from Paul Clark. Angus Goff is third. Martin West, the previous champion, is in fourth place. Jeff Peake is up to fifth by the looks of it in the number 29 car as they come over the line to complete lap one.
Yep, great first lap then for the man who started on the front row of the grid, Daniel Garrett. Live timing doesn't appear to be updating itself, unfortunately, so we'll do our best to keep atop of the order from what we can see on the pictures and indeed out of the window. And now this is what I was talking about. These are pack races very much. Imagine like a Moto3 style of race where you get these great slipstreams. Yeah,
Lewis Ward has made it out into the race, and he's only about 50 or 100 yards ahead of the leading group. So this could get interesting if they manage to catch him. If Lewis is quick enough, he'll stay ahead. But at the moment, you've still got Daniel Garrett ahead of Paul Clark, and the rest as they turn their way out of Tower Bend and up towards the left-right flick at Jim Clark S's. Time screen has now burst into life and confirms that that's the order. Angus Goff third.
Oh,
yeah, that's Lewis Ward.
Lewis Ward.
Yeah, okay. Just certainly kept out of the way of the leaders.
Hasn't lasted long, has it? That spare car, if you like, that he's picked up. But, yeah, that's. I mean, I don't think that's just keeping out of the way.
No,
that is a recurring problem.
Yeah, no. Well, back to the drawing board. So, back in the race, it is still really a 5-car battle for the lead. We can see, but we're looking at the battle a little bit further back. We were. There's the battle for the lead now. Garrett, Clark, Goff, Western Peak. Your top 5 separated by a little more than a second. Then it's Isaac Spears, just a little bit on his own in 6th place in the number 7 car as they come through to complete lap 2. On that lap, Jeff Peake has done the best lap of the race so far, 1:40.560, and that is a new lap record already.
Wow.
Beating his own joint lap record with Mark Burton from a couple of years ago.
I was just about to say, Jeff Peake, the lap record holder here, absolutely smashed it on that previous lap, and this is very much a 5-car battle for the lead. 1.8 seconds separated the top 5 when they went over the timing line to start lap 3. And once again, we have got Clark right in the toe of Garrett. But this is where the tactics get played. He probably doesn't want to lead at this stage of the race.
And Martin West's gone up to 3rd place there at Tower Bend at the expense of Angus Goff. So probably one of the most experienced drivers in the field, certainly the most successful driver in the field, has got through into 3rd position, and wouldn't rule out him getting involved in this lead battle before too much longer. Still 2/3 of this race left to go.
Yeah, Martin West did make a wild card appearance in the Low Cost Championship last year at Snetterton, managed to get on the podium in the first race of the weekend, but as I say, it was mainly Mazda 7s for him last year. Finished 7th in the championship, but returning to the series where he was successful in 2021, winning the championship. Only former champion on the grid, as we mentioned, and you see it right back on the tail of the top two within a half a lap. So if there's anybody who understands how these races unfold, it's Martin West.
Certainly is, and you can see he's already narrowed the gap to the leading group. He's got away a little bit from Angus Goff and Jeff Peake. Isaac Spears still there in 6th, but I think he's been reeled in by Rob Apsey, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, that time through, Apsey was half a second faster than Isaac Spears, so Spears is going to have company before too much longer.
Well, Spears is already bettering his best result of 7th last year.
I think Jeff Peake has pulled off at Clairvaux, possibly. Yeah, there's Angus Goff on his own. I could just see the white flag wave, and a car exited stage left into Parc Ferme, I think. So I think we've lost Jeff Peake.
Ah, what a shame for him. He had just been passed for 3rd place, but he was still running in a good position and part of that lead battle, as we see Paul Clark wrestling the rear end of his car through Tower Bend. So this pack of 5 cars has become a quartet, and even with that said, they are starting to drop the number 17 of Angus Goff.
Yeah, West with the best lap of the race now, 140.386, so he's now got the lap record in these cars. He's really closed the gap to the first 2, which are making their way out of Sunny Down towards the complex for the 4th time. Turning in together, Goff will now be on his own in 4th place, and that's promoted Isaac Spears to 5th, Rob Apsey up into 6th position. They turn their way through the left-hander at the hairpin. This is to complete the lap. No particular dramas there. And as they exit the corner, just pulling away a little bit in the lead was Daniel Garrett, with Paul Clark being under a bit more pressure as they headed down to Clairvaux from Martin West.
You see how much they've dropped. The rest of the field is still waiting for Isaac Spears to come across the line in 5th place. And they are 11 seconds ahead of the rest of the field now, this leading 4 cars. So fantastic stuff. And Martin West doing the fastest lap of the race, 1:43.86. So that's just beaten Jeff Peake's new lap record. We're certainly going gun-ho in this race.
Martin West, I can see out of the window, is challenging for 2nd place there into Talbot. He's decided that discretion is the better part of valour, so we're going to just continue looking at some battles further down the order, including there you can see the number 50 car of Ian Hardy, the driver all the way up from Cornwall. He's in 10th place as things stand. And there you can see the 13 car, which is Jack Linus. He's just ahead of Sean Brain, but he's closing in on that battle for 5th place between Isaac Spears and Rob Apsey now. And Apsey's gone through to 5th at the Jim Clark S's. Isaac Spears down to 6th place, but then you've got Brame and Linus in very close proximity.
Well, Rob Apsey, another driver who's fighting for a best finish, which was a 5th place in 2022, and has been on the podium before. Only scored one of them last year, but putting himself in a good position, ever present in the Locost since 2008. So he's certainly got a lot of experience under his belt, but just locking up the outside front there in the middle of the complex section. Isaac Spears is still on his tail, looking up the inside into the hairpin, but no way through there. Oh, might get him on the exit, though.
Yeah, Spears does get a better exit, but he really couldn't find a way through. There's a flag being shown to somebody. That's a mechanical warning flag, and can just about make out the orange spot on it. So someone's got an issue that they need to pit for.
Yes, I saw a car earlier. There was a bit of bodywork sort of sticking out of the right-hand side. It was one of the white cars, and I didn't quite get the number of it. But if it comes by again, I'll be sure to try and see it.
Like a chariot with the knives sticking out of the side, something like that. Is that right? You could see why the scrutineers would want that off the circuit.
Yes, absolutely.
Anyway, top 3, well clear of the rest. 3 seconds clear of Angus Goff in 4th, who's 14 seconds clear of Rob Apsey in 5th place. But West is still playing this waiting game, really, in 3rd place. He can't wait for too much longer to get, though, because there's only 5 minutes left to go.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is it, and they all play their cards right at the end of the race. And yeah, we started out with 5 cars in this lead battle. They are dropping Angus Goff quite considerably now. We are down to a leading trio. And yeah, Daniel Garrett's led this one since the off, took the lead at the first corner of the race from the front row of the grid. And now we're just waiting to see who's going to show their hand first.
Yeah, it's intriguing, isn't it? Because you just sense there's a bit of a waiting game going on here, and at some point, as we go towards the last lap, all chaos might break loose.
Someone's going to pull the trigger.
Yeah.
And we're into the last 5 minutes now, so it's going to be soon.
Probably 3 laps to go, including the one that they've just started, I would suggest. They're lapping in the 140. His best lap is still with Martin West, a 140.386. And here's this next group of cars, which look to be headed by Spears again. He's got back ahead of Rob Apsey, so he's up into 5th. Apsey is 6th. Then it's Sean Brame, 7th. And then Daniel Russell was ahead of Jack Linus over the line, but that's changed around again as they arrive at Clervaux Corner. Jack Linus back into P8.
Fantastic stuff up and down the field. It's certainly changing around a lot more than the leaders. That is for sure, and you see the much bigger pack they find themselves in as a result, because it's just an absolute queue of cars. But we're back with the leaders, and that is because Paul Clark has gotten ahead of Daniel Garrett and is into the lead of the race.
Well, has he pulled the trigger too early, I wonder, because there's still 2.5 laps to go as they arrive at Sunny Corner. He's got to gamble now and be able to make a break away from Daniel Garrett, because you probably don't want to be chasing. That car with the flapping bodywork has come in, the number 37 car it was. Steve Brown, the Columpton driver, he's coming in. Yeah, there was some bodywork flapping, which the officials will take a look at.
Yeah, either duct tape it down or yank it off. That is the way of things normally, but yeah, just over 3 minutes to go. You can throw a blanket over these 3 cars at the hairpin. So Paul Clark has pulled the trigger. Has he pulled it too early? Daniel Garrett is back in the slipstream. Of course, Martin West right with them as well. Paul Clark doing the fastest lap of the race last time around, but Daniel Garrett coming straight back at him. And before they even get to Clervaux, has pulled clear of Paul Clark. So was that Paul Clark letting him through, or has Daniel Garrett just got that much speed down the straight?
Steve Brown, I could see he was back out into the race as well, so whether they went for the duct tape or yank option, I'm not quite sure. Either way, they've got the car safely able to continue as Paul Clark gets alongside Daniel Garrett on the run down to Tower Bend, and Martin West going to try and buy into this as well. It's going to be Garrett that emerges into the corner first, but West might go to second place here. It's on the inside line all the way through Tower, but it looks like a better exit from the corner for Paul Clark, and he holds on to second position as they head into the Jim Clark S's for the penultimate time.
And Daniel Garrett will just be rubbing his hands. Yes, keep fighting behind me. Let me pull a gap in these last couple of laps. Hasn't quite worked out, though, because Paul Clark's still able to stick with the back of Daniel Garrett. But I must say, that gap between those top 2 cars is about as big as it's been all race, even though it is still very slender. Martin West looking very racy on the way into the complex as Paul Clark feels the need to defend. And again, that's just going to allow Daniel Garrett to just pull some inches in front of them. We are coming on to what will probably be the last lap, I'd have thought.
Yeah, I think it will be, because there's less than a lap time to go, about a minute and a half there will be as they go across the line. And there's the last lap board being prepared, and it's now shown to Daniel Garrett, who goes on to the last lap in the lead of the race by 0.6 of a second.
Wow.
You don't necessarily want to be leading at the start of the last lap of a low-cost race, but 0.6, is that going to be enough, Chris? What do you reckon?
Oh, well, we're going to find out in about 3 corners' time, aren't we? Because Tower Bend seems to be the favoured overtaking spot. It's at the end of the longest straight. So what kind of an exit does Daniel Garrett get? Well, Paul Clark has closed right up. It might have been 0.6 of a second at the start of the lap. It certainly is not now. They're going down towards Tower Bend, and we need to see if Paul Clark is going to be able to take the lead away from Daniel Garrett.
Yeah, and I can tell you that he has done. I can see out of the commentary box window that Paul Clark has got the lead away from Daniel Garrett in second place, and then there's a gap back to Martin West in third position. There is confirmation of that fact. Paul Clark just ahead of Garrett, half a lap to go.
Yeah, but Daniel Garrett's not going to take this one lying down, is he? I'm sure he will have a little look at the complex. Martin West seems to be out of the running for this one, unless something happens between these two with just a few corners to go. But Daniel Garrett following in the wheel tracks of Paul Clark. Aboard that number 19 machine, coming towards the complex. Only a couple of braking zones to go, and Daniel Garrett locks up, runs a little bit wide. That brings Martin West back into it as well. That might have just secured victory for Paul Clark. Can Martin West find a way through for second place? Very hard to make a move on the outside line there work, and it looks like it is going to be Paul Clark.
And what will be his first win in the Yokohama Locost Championship. Out of the corner he goes. He's got a 3-car length advantage. Checkered flag is made ready, and Paul Clark wins in Locost at Croft. Round 1 of the championship goes to Paul Clark by 0.3 of a second from Daniel Garrett. Martin West is third, another 0.3 behind him. And Paul Clark also gets the fastest lap on the last lap of the race as well, a 1:40.18. That's a lap record. Also a bonus point for fastest lap as well. Could be important at the end of the season. Meanwhile, a bit further back, the battle for 8th. Oh, and there's a spinner in that back group as well. But Isaac Spears now comes across the line in 5th. Sean Frame is 6th. Jack Linus is 7th. Daniel Russell is 8th. Liam 9th, so he's come through nicely after qualifying a bit further back than he might have liked on his low-cost return. And Ian Hardy completes the top 10.
Wow, what a race, especially between the top 3. Paul Clark, first win in the low-cost championship. We've said it just before the start of the race. He had a best finish of 2nd at Snetterton last year. And yeah, he's gone one better than that now. And great little battle with Daniel Garrett and Martin West. Didn't have a hand to show right at the end of that battle, which is somewhat interesting. But look at that, they were 10 seconds clear of the rest of the field, and those three in a class of their own. Fantastic stuff.
Yeah, really good race that between those 3. Obviously we lost Jeff Peake, who could have been involved as well, about halfway through that race, and that sort of opened up the gap between the top 3 and Angus Goff, who was 4th in the end. But we could easily have had 5 cars battling for victory. In the end, we had 3.
And I think Isaac Spears, they did better his best result. So he's 5th place, and he had a best result of 7th before today. So he's managed to go one better than that, and I think it might be the same for Jack Linus. No, definitely not the same for Jack Linus.
Yeah,
I was looking at the wrong page.
He's had better results than that. So, although I can't bring you on screen, I can tell you that it was number 82, Paul Clark, that took the win. 9 laps completed by him, and he finished 0.366 seconds ahead of number 19, Daniel Garrett, in 2nd place. Number 94, Martin West, was 3rd. 17, Angus Goff, was 4th. 7, which was Isaac Spears, was 5th. 8th, Sean Brain, was 6th. 7th was number 13, Jack Linus. 8th was number 57, Daniel Russell. 9th, number 5, Liam. And 10th, number 50, Ian Hardy. Then it was Alan Harmon, Kev Straw, Rob Apsey. Was he the driver that had the spin at the hairpin on the final lap, possibly, because he dropped a long way down?
Could well be. I didn't quite see it because,
no, I didn't.
Ironically, one of the Alpha Life cameramen kind of blocks our view of the hairpin from the commentary box.
Blooming cameraman.
I know, right?
14th, Glenn Boyer. 15th was the 31 car of Glenn Griffith. 16th, Rob Siston. 17th, Dave Berry. 18th, Mark Rowe. 19th, Andy Perkins. And 20th was Keith Malpas. That's quite enough of that result. So low costs have 2 more races tomorrow in quite quick succession as well tomorrow. So we look forward to races 2 and 3 for the Yokohama Low-Cost Championship here at Croft Circuit. But we've still got 4 more races to come, 5 more races to come this afternoon. First, though, let's head to the pit lane and Yusuf Bin Sahel.
The top 3 were not separated much for, well, the entirety of that race, and a final lap battle as well came into play. Paul, you must be absolutely chuffed to bits with that.
I'm over the moon, mate. Absolutely over the moon. Been a long time coming. What, 7 years, I think, to get that. Oh, over the moon. Over the moon. But like I say, if it wasn't for these two, who's pushed me all the way, I wouldn't be here. Dan and fucking Westy on there. Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
To get your first win, there's a few ways you can do it. That definitely has to be the best one. You had to fight to the very end, last lap as well, still having a lot of pressure on you. and then you finally made it work.
Well, to be fair, I think the first 3 laps, me and Dan just worked together, to get away. Had a little gap, and then we thought it was playtime. So, yeah, and then Westy's going to be there or thereabouts, and you know what Westy's like, he's always there. But like I say, to be on the podium with them two, I wouldn't be nowhere near if it weren't for them two. So, yeah, but I'm absolutely chuffed.
Fantastic stuff. Have a good night rest, and make it 2 out of 2 tomorrow, right?
Oh, we'll see about that.
I think that there was a swear word that might have just come out for a second. We'll go back, have a chat with Daniel, because Daniel, you put so much pressure onto Paul. Fantastic battle, and then that little lock up on the last lap. It was looking so close.
I was trying, but he's too damn quick. You know, I'm going to have to stop building all this lot of engines. No, it's great. It was great.
I've heard from others that Croft has just been a really physical circuit. Do you feel that in these?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you've been thrown around left, right and centre over curbs, trying to keep within track limits. There's bits flying off the cars and braking. I dare say something broke on it, but yeah, some track. Yeah.
Well, you've got to get these round one more race here at Croft, and the gap between you three is really, really close.
Yeah, I'll be honest. It could be anyone's tomorrow. Absolutely. It could be Angus's. It could be Westy again. Honestly, don't know. It's one of them. pick of the hat, I think, isn't it?
Well, we might have to pick it out of the hat tomorrow. Anyway, best of luck for tomorrow, and we'll see you out in action again.
Cheers, buddy. Thank you very much.
Right, we'll move on to our 3rd place man, Mr. Martin West. Martin, there was a point in that race where you were really catching them in the first few laps, and I thought, you know what? I think Martin's got them. He's got the pace, but then they just started to eke away again.
Yeah, no, it was, they've been strong, them two, over the test day most of the weekend, so it was a case of me just clinging on for dear life. But yeah, there was a point in there where I thought, are they slowing down or am I getting quicker? But I think they were just pacing themselves for the last lap. But I'm just more made up that Clark won the race at last. You know, I think it's taken him 10 years to finally get that win, so I'm absolutely made up for him. I think I celebrated more when he went across the line than when I won races before, so so pleased to finally see him win a race. It was brilliant. That has made my weekend already.
Yeah, there's been a lot of good camaraderie as well for that win for Paul, from what I've seen. For tomorrow, is there any chance of rain? Would you like to see some rain?
Not particularly. Does anybody like rain, really? I want to get wet for. But no, it is what it is, isn't it? You know, we just have a bit of fun, whatever it lands with us, but I don't think it's going to rain, not what I've heard, unless you know different.
I'm going to be honest, I don't think anyone knows with British weather, but congratulations on 3rd and best of luck for tomorrow.
Yeah, thank you very much.
So, with that, that is one more race on. We're going to be heading into a short ad break, and when we come back, we'll be having our Tekiwa Road Sports Endurance race coming up. Stay tuned.